Hello, welcome. Welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you for taking some of your time to listen to these Dhamma talks. I hope they'll be a blessing to you. Today we're on page 44. We're talking about the chitta, which is mind. We've mentioned that it has various capabilities and various components, so it's quite a complex word. And we're going to break it down into various meanings that the word chitta has. It says when the chitta knows feelings like happiness, suffering, or neutral emotions, or body sensations, it's called Vedana. So all the body sensations that have been recorded in our history have a component of our liking, not liking, or being neutral, that what identifies them is the opinion, the emotional opinion that we have about the experience. The chitta, when it perceives perception and remembering memories, it's called sanya. So sanya, in my use of the word, has been primarily memory, but there has to be a perception of the Vedana in order for it to trigger a memory. So sanya is the perception of the Vedana that is the barcode of a previous experience. When it's thinking and concocting, well, what do you think? It's called sankhara. When it knows, perceives all these feelings, it is vijnana or consciousness, it's chitta. So those are the 5 aggregates that we've been talking about. That's a breakdown of them. Chitta bhavana, mind development. So that's what we're trying to do when we practice vipassana meditation and mindfulness. We're trying to develop the mind's potential to become self-aware. So that's also chitta. The body is the chitta's avatar. The dictionary says avatar is typically a Hindu word. It says manifestation of a deity or a soul in bodily form on earth, an incarnate divine teacher. So this says this body that we call me has the potential to be a divine teacher. We can say that divine teacher in Buddhism we would call Buddha nature or Buddha mind, or we'll call it Dhamma. This sentence says the body can be an avatar. It can be this place, this tool that we can use to discover the pure Dhamma. The luminous chitta is the creator of vidya, of rebirth. So in some meditation practices, the experience of light, a flash of light, golden light, auras, twinkling stars, etc., have value. They are held in high regard. In this case, this event that is the result of the chitta is also the place where avidya, which is the source, the origin of all suffering, arises. And this luminosity is not recognized as an expression of becoming enlightened in the vipassana meditation that we use in the forest monk tradition. The state of luminosity of the chitta is the most subtle levels of kilesa. So remember, kilesa are things that are polluting our consciousness. And when we get attached to and attracted to, when we admire or want to brag about various levels of light or luminosity that we may have experienced in our meditation practice, those are just very subtle forms of delusion. They are subtle forms of kilesa. So we were not interested in them in this technique. Very subtle craving arises when there is affection for the intimacy with and the attachment to that brightness and luminosity of the chitta. So affection for, well, now we like it, we're getting good sensations on the body, we have an opinion that that's a good thing, we want to become intimate, we want to have that experience on the sort of deepest level of intimacy, and then we have now become attached. So now our meditation becomes a form of craving. And this brightness or luminosity turns out to be an obstacle. It's only after the luminosity has broken apart that one attains the state of purity, the purified chitta. So, as I mentioned, it's quite common for people to misinterpret the meaning of any kind of luminosity they experience in their meditations, but the point is, it's not pure mind. If the chitta is pure, then the khandhas, the aggregates, which we're talking about, are also pure. So that is telling us chitta is mind. When it's pure, the events that arise through the five aggregates no longer create a sense of attachment or a belief in a personhood. So we can still see, hear, smell, taste, touch, have thoughts and feelings arise in the mind, but they do not pass through a sense of self before they, as on their way to arising in the mind, and therefore they don't pollute us. When an arhat is bitten by a mosquito, it itches. That's the nature of the body. The chemicals from the mosquito bite create the feeling of itching, and the natural impulse is to scratch it. And the arhat may very well scratch the itch. The difference is his identity with that sensation is very different than the one we have as unenlightened. Pure mind is mind without attachment. Gee, I get ahead of myself here. I just said that a moment ago. Unaffected by mind objects, it does not crave to become anything. There's my example. So an arhat is in this world, has a body. If the body's functioning normally, all kinds of thoughts arise. They see, hear, smell, taste, touch, just as was the way it was before their liberation, but there's no attachment. That's what it says, a pure mind without attachment, unaffected by mind objects. So whatever thinking arises, and it can be thinking you might expect an arhat not to have, but thoughts arise as a result of our karmic seeds, And if an arahat is a living person in this world, then they still have karma. The difference is they don't react to the karmic experience in the way unenlightened people do. Therefore, they don't create new karma or more karma. But still, thoughts that we can call ugly or unhealthy or unwholesome may arise, but there's no identifying with them. He doesn't say, oh, damn it, I wish those thoughts would stop. It's just a law of nature. They have to arise, come to the level of consciousness, not be attached to, it's called a burning the seed, then they pass away forever. It does not crave to become anything. There's no longer a sense of unfulfillment, of dissatisfaction, emptiness, of frustration, loneliness, etc. There's nothing missing in the purified mind. So there's no desire for an expensive wristwatch or sensual contact of any kind, for having something or not having it. So they may have a favorite football team. I'm thinking of a teacher I know, used to play soccer. It was a passion for him in his school age years. He follows his national team soccer's successes and failures. He looks at them on the phone, but there's no emotional reaction. He doesn't get angry when they lose, and he doesn't become overjoyed when they win. And then it says, the mind knows itself. There, that's the pure sati. The mind knows itself as pure, its original state. And I said on the last page, we're not trying to purify the mind, it's already pure. We're trying to discover, which means take the covers off of everything, every form of kilesa, avidya, dukkha, that is obstructing our view of the pure mind, the obstructing our direct experience, our submersion in the ocean of pure mind. A chitta still possessed of avidya ceaselessly builds up lives. It cannot remain still. I've said repeatedly, it's the job of the mind, which the ignorant mind, we can say, is, quote, created by avidya. It ceaselessly builds up life after life after life. That's its nature, that's its job, it's highly skilled at it. It's ceaseless, it's just doing that all the time. Never retreats, never gives up. It just keeps trying to be reborn. So it cannot remain still. We have to put on the brakes by using our meditation and mindfulness practice. The purified chitta does not take rebirth. So obviously, if we've cooked all the karmic seeds, then there's nothing left to be reborn. And this is the process, this is the walking on the path, this is the effort that we're making to practice the Dhamma, is to end the cycle of rebirth by awakening to all the ways the mind is deceiving us, lying to us, tricking us, and causing infinite lifetimes of suffering. The chitta forms the foundation of samsara, the round of death and rebirth. It is the essence of being that wanders from birth to birth. This is a little tricky because, of course, people ask, well, if there's no soul and there's no me, what gets reborn? Well, a kind of uh, potential. A river is never the same. We cannot point to any place in the river and say, that's the river. That place is the river. The whole river is the river, and it's always in a state of flux, even if it's frozen. That's one state. There may be water flowing underneath the ice. If it's warm, if it's evaporating, if pollutants are entering it, etc., etc. It's, we call it the river, but there's no place we can find that is a definitive explanation or location of what the river is. So if we think of karma as a river, then it's in a constant state of flux. Some old karmic seeds are being burned, they're passing away, new karmic seeds are being planted. It's a phenomena like the flow of a river, but there's no one place or one thing that we can point to and say, there, that's me, that's the real me, right there. The moment we say that, it's already changed. The chitta is governed by karma. So I guess I just said that. This river is a river of karma. It's this, a seed is a potential. It's not a plant, a tree, whatever its nature is. It's not that thing. It has the potential of being that thing. We'll say it's a tree when conditions allow for it. So it has to be in some kind of fertile soil. It has to have sufficient water, irrigation, and it has to have appropriate temperatures. Those are the three basic elements that would allow the seed to sprout, assuming it's not eaten by a bird or a squirrel, etc., etc. Here's this seed, the conditions are appropriate, it sprouts, it takes root, and then it's in a constant state of flux. We call it a tree, we point to it as a tree, but sometimes it's pushing out leaves or flowers or fruit, and the leaves are becoming dry and old by late summer. If it's a deciduous tree, the leaves are falling to the ground. There doesn't seem to be any growth during the winter months, if that's the climate for that tree, etc. So we call it a tree. It's a constant state of flux. It's moving in the direction of its own death. That's the nature of the seed. The seed contained the ultimate consequence or nature of it dying. In the meantime, it produces millions or billions of new seeds. So this mind that we call me is colored or influenced or largely determined by karma. Sunatta Vihara, the temple of emptiness. Remember, we had Dhamma Vihara on a previous page. That was loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. So here we find the word vihara. It means a place, a mansion, a dwelling, a temple. And sunatta means emptiness. So this temple of emptiness, it's the opposite of all temples in every religion that I've been in anyway. Synagogues and mosques and churches and Buddhist temples are not empty. They're full, still full of stuff. So there's a temple of emptiness that is Dhamma nature, is a Buddha mind. Let's see what else it says. The place the mind dwells in the perception of emptiness, emptiness of the concept of self. That's our purest form of liberation. No I, no me, no mine. This is not me. This does not belong to me. This is not myself. That's Sunnata Vihara, the temple of emptiness. Now, remember, if there is a body that's functioning in a healthy way, it doesn't mean there's never a thought, that there's never a feeling about something, that there's no sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Those phenomena arise and pass away because it's a law of nature. It can't be other than that way. But there's no one who says, this is happening to me. There is just the awareness that something has arisen to the level of consciousness. That's all. Something arose to the level of consciousness. It will stay for some time and pass away. Law of nature. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We finished page 44. I'm grateful for your attention. I hope you're blessed by these words of Dhamma. I hope they become seeds which are nurtured, grow, and bear fruit, that you may be a blessing to yourself and others. Thank you.